Hey guys, how are you? I know. I hope you guys enjoyed that latest episode of NWR Stories, because today I want to show you guys some new things that will be appearing in NWR Stories, and I'm going to enjoy showing this stuff. Now, what I'm going to show you is just some things I recently purchased off eBay that, I was like, hey, I should finally get these things because, it was something, some of these things I've been wanting to add to the Railway for the longest, and certain characters and everything else that I basically want to add to the series for the longest. And, without further ado, let's get this started. First thing I want to say is that thank you guys for, I hope you guys really just enjoy my me returning to the train things, because I don't know, I feel more comfortable with the train things. I have my other series and all, but I really just want to go back to NWR Stories, because that is what put me on the map on YouTube. That is what gave me the audience that I have now, because you guys are amazing, and I want to give you guys everything you guys want as far as content. But without further ado, let's get started with what's here. And the first thing I'm going to show you guys is my new wooden railway, Murdoch. Now, you remember how I've mentioned this in previous videos when I got a certain character, but here is another character that has wasted potential. Wasted potential. And when I say wasted potential, I mean a character that Thomas underused. Like, there was a lot of times where Thomas episodes felt like just, oh, let's showcase this one character that you'll never see again. For example, Murdoch. I can only recall 2 episodes he was in. And this is mainly because that he was we didn't really see him that much. I remember he was in that episode called Peace and Quiet in season 6, and I also it was in season 6 or season 7. But I also remember him being in that season 12 episode with Emily, and she did something that she wasn't paying attention, or something, she didn't listen or anything, but basically all that kind of thing. But the reason why I say Murdoch should have been more significant, because in reality, Murdoch's class, the British Railway Standard 9F, was one of the last steam engines built. And honestly, oh wow, you just gonna walk in front of the camera? Get out of here! Anyway, but yeah, Murdoch's one of those characters that more should have been done for him, because honestly, a British Railway 9F, one of the last steam engines that were built in the 1960s. That could have been cause for a lot of storylines. But honestly, you know how I craft my headcanons for certain characters. And I have a lot of headcanons that I have planned for characters, like how I basically had a headcanon for Rosie, Arthur, other characters. For example, like my headcanon for Murdoch is that, he was one of the many 9Fs sent to the British Rail sent to the Barry scrapyard. And Richard Topham he caught wind of this and brought Murdoch to the railway in the 1970s to help out with the heavy goods things, because Sodor was getting more traction being a preserved railway, so a lot of goods and services were being brought to the railway. And that's where Murdoch would fit, because he's a character that, like I said, nothing was really done for him. So it's like, hey, use this character, just use him. But anyway, let's get down to the model. So if I look on his wheels to determine what model he is a let's look. He is a 2003 model. So this is like right when so this is a 2003 model that it says on the wheel, is what I just looked at. And this thing is right where season 3 this is basically like a season 7 model. Like, he was released during season 7. So that basically makes sense. Now, Murdoch, as I said, this is a very interesting model. This is one of my favorite locomotives in real life. As I say, if I ever get the chance to go see a 9F in person, I'll go to the National Railway Museum. But yes, this is, like I said, Murdoch's a very nice model. I love engines with smoke deflectors. Like, they are honestly one of my favorite types of locomotives. That's why at some point I want to take Flying Scotsman right there and add some more smoke deflectors to him. And then also one of my other favorite, wooden railway characters that I still have more planned to do with. The Big City Engine, or Reginald as he's called in my series now. Like I said, these are just wow. I love an engine with smoke deflectors. But anyway, we spent all this time talking about Murdoch. He will definitely appear in the next episode I do of NWR Stories. And the next model we're going to talk about is Emerald and Emily. Now, as you guys already know, it hasn't really been shown, I never was able to get the new wooden railway Emily that had the accurate wheelbase. And trust me, I am kicking the air because I did not get her. The only wooden railway type Emily I had was this wood Emily that I bought just to have one. Like her and Rebecca were really just buys. Like I wanted to add Emily to the layout because I do like Emily as a character. She is practically just like I said. She's a character that, like I said, is a lot of people were upset that they said she replaced Duck in the Steam Team, but I'm not mad at her for that because she's a likable character. Because see, at the end of the day, even though she was put on the Steam Team, a lot of people, I guess since she replaced a character like Duck, I guess that's why, a lot of people didn't have any problems with it. But then you have, let's say season 20, season 22, when basically Mattel decided to push 2 Railway Series characters out of the shed. That's the thing that made people mad, and I'm not gonna lie, it made me mad too. Because I love Rebecca, I love Nia, because I love the things that I had. I love the how I added them into my stories, but at the same time, they could have been added differently. Like for example, Nia and Rebecca could have been main characters, but you did not have to phase out the original characters that everybody grew to love. Because frankly, Henry's my favorite character. Like my favorite Thomas character is Henry, because Henry, I see a lot of myself in Henry. But onto the model. So, like I said, Emily is based off a GNR Sterling single locomotive, which only one is preserved. And I feel like this model, basically for what it does, represents that. And not to mention, this is a childhood Emily, because I used to see a lot of Thomas Wooden Railway YouTubers use this model. And not to mention, Emily, like I said, Emily is one of my favorite female characters in the series, because she has this, you actually notice her character development throughout the series. Like she went from being this, I know it all, to this, kind engine that really wants to be there for her friends and stuff. Now, I feel like she is underused in my series, which I'm going to rectify that one day. But, like I said, Emily is actually, I'm glad to finally have this model, have a better model of Emily. That means this one will be going into the retirement box, but, she was my Emily for a while, so I will discharge her with dignity. So, without further ado, let's get to the next things that I purchased, and this will round out this video. And this is something that I said that I have really wanted to replace in my layout for the last time. For the longest. And here we have Wooden Railway, Annie and Clarabel. Thank you, Thomas. I finally have gotten an actual static versions of Annie and Clarabel. Oop, I dropped them. Because I've been wanting to find these models for the longest. Because I had an Annie and Clarabel in my cart, but they were the ones from the one where they just had the flat wheels and the no names on the bottoms. I think these are 2023 models. Wow, I think this whole lot that I bought off eBay is a 2023 model. Let me see. Yep, Emily's 2003, Murdoch 2003, and so is this seller that I get them from. I'm always getting things from 2023. And now that I realize it, I finally have all the engines from that song, 5 New Engines in the Shed. I have Spencer, Emily, Murdoch, Salty, and Harvey. They all actually, I really completed that without even trying. Anyway. But like I said, I am so glad to have this model, because don't get me wrong, I'm going to go grab these right quick. Yeah. Ooh. Anyway, I do have these right here. I do have these, the ones that came with this Nafford station. And don't get me wrong, I love these. These were cool. These were a nice touch, but I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyway, This is annoying. Like, they look like toasters. I like them, but they look like toasters. That's unappealing. Like, it's like, I love that sometimes I move this around my layout, but at the same time, I need actual coaches. Honestly, I've been pondering this idea for the longest. I'm thinking about replacing a lot of my new models, except for like characters like Rebecca, Nia, and Hero, because I like Hero's model in the form that he is. But I'm thinking about like just basically replacing all the newer wooden railway models with their older variants, kind of like what I did with Toby. But to be fair, I did use the wood Toby, which is puny, and I didn't want to get the new one because, I don't know, there's certain charming about this guy. There's something charming about this little wooden box on wheels. And this is an old model too, like really old. Anyway, but like I said, like this is just, it's basically glad to have these newer versions. And I'm thinking about, like I said, I'm thinking about buying the older versions, but I also like the fact that the newer models have the accurate wheelbases. Like, for example, Henry has an accurate wheelbase. Rebecca, I think she doesn't have one. She's missing a wheel or two. James has his accurate wheelbase, and not to mention, freaking Edward has his accurate wheelbase. Like, that's, and I love Edward. He has his accurate wheelbase. That basically makes me smile. That makes me happy on the inside. But I know people are gonna say, what about the faces? What about the faces? But I say, hey, you know, what can you do? Like I said, Gordon and the bigger engines, this is the highlight of this whole new railway, this whole new thing, because look at the faces. Now, if I have a good way to remove the faces, honestly, I've been thinking about going into this, I see a lot of, I'm thinking about buying these 3D prints off eBay. And they have 3D prints of characters like, you know, like panniers and Great Western Halls. And I do have a lot of extra wheels from all the engines in the, I said like the replace box, or what I called it earlier. But I'm thinking about just going ahead and replacing all that stuff. But anyway, just to close out this video, I just want to say that thank you guys for watching, and be prepared to see these new characters or new versions of the characters in this in my new videos coming out. I'm going to finish out this season with, I think, either the same amount of episodes or a little bit less than the same amount of episodes I did with season 1. I do plan on doing a season 3, but a lot of things are happening outside of me and YouTube, so I want to give it time and do my thing. And I just want to say, live life, stay happy, and I love you guys. Peace.